Hey folks, Leader here once again. Welcome back to another video. Another movie review. I know it's been a little while, a couple of days since I did my last video. But of course this is a superhero review of the 90s era of superhero movies. Let's see. Oh yeah, it was on Friday, last Friday I did a video when almost a week ago since I did my last video. But as y'all know, I've been on the 90s era of superhero movies. I've been on the year 1993, and I've only got 2 movies left here. So anyway, with that being said, today I am reviewing a 1993 film, superhero comedy film, starring Robert Townsend, and this is also, I believe, directed by him. This is actually the first black superhero movie, I believe, and that is The Meteor Man. Yes, starring Robert Townsend. Now, I didn't grow up watching this movie. This movie's probably about 30 years old now. I didn't grow up watching this movie. I honestly thought that this film was just okay. My problem with it mainly was the tone of the story. It's a film that has good intentions, but, I'll get more into all of that. But this film I thought was alright. I didn't think it was one of the worst superhero movies. No, I could definitely watch this. For me, this was just meh. It was okay. I would say it's a time waster at best. Yeah, I just really went into this. This just wasn't for me. I've seen better black superhero movies that I prefer over this. I say I could prefer Blank Man. Because at least Blank Man had the tone right. It was about protecting your community too. That movie, from gang violence and stuff, which this movie's about. But that movie is perfect for its comedy, basically, in my opinion. Or I can say I prefer Blade over this to be better, but that's just my opinion. Blade's a completely different movie, but I just prefer Blade 1 and 2. I would say it's definitely better than Blade Trinity. I could watch this over Blade Trinity any day, Or I would say I like Black Panther better than this, but that's just me personally. Whichever was, I'm sorry, I just felt Black Panther was a better movie. Yeah, it's a bit longer, but I felt it was a better movie. It's not a perfect film, but hey, I like that just slightly better. Or Up and Away, which is a Disney Channel that also stars Robert Townsend, that I like probably better than this. It's like a black version of Fantastic Four, which I like, in a family of superheroes, kind of like a black version of The Incredibles 2, which I like. I like that movie. I grew up watching that movie. So, his character was Bronze Eagle. So I kind of grew up watching that movie instead of this one. But The Meteor Man I thought was alright, but I'll get more into it as I review it. Alright. A little bit of introduction, I guess. Although Washington was the setting for the movie, it was actually shot in Reservoir Hill, neighborhood in Baltimore, Maryland. It is one of the early superhero films featuring an African American in the starring role. You have the soundtrack, It's For You, Don't Waste My Time, You Turn On Me. It has 11 tracks. There was a comic, which I'll go ahead and mention, the Meteor Man comic. Talk about that in this video. Basically, Marvel created it, made it as a 6-issue limited issues, which ran from 1973 to January 1994. It's where Meteor Man ends up meeting Spider-Man and Night Thrasher. The fictional superhero was created by director-writer Robert Townsend, of course. The Meteor Man, he is Maryland Manor high school teacher named Jefferson Reed in Washington, D.C., where his neighborhood is terrored by gangs called the Golden Lords. Golden Lord's D. Somkin has also been exposed to the same meteor. But for his powers and abilities, the meteor that Short Jefferson gave him possessed powers like super strength, super speed, he's got a little bit of flies. He can fly, he's got the speed and hearing, he's got X-ray laser vision, invulnerability, which he can't really get hurt. You can't punch him or kick him or shoot him, because he's bulletproof like Superman. He's got ability to telekinesis. Yeah. He's got super breath. He's got weather manipulation. And the ability to communicate with dogs. And when he touches a book, he can typically reveal the contents of the book and uses it for 30 seconds. The one weakness that he has is that his powers are easily drained, are drained. When he uses too much of his powers, like during a week or too much time, he uses them, the meteor, drains it, so that's his weakness. But he has to recharge it by touching a meteor fragment that recharges his powers. Now, Robert Townsend put a pretty big cast in this movie. Of course, Robert Townsend plays lead. Jefferson Reed, a.k.a. Meteor Man. Marley Gibb plays Maxine Reed. Oh, she's done too. Y'all should probably know her for... She was Florence Johnson in The Jeffersons. Eddie Griffin, who I think is funny in this movie, as Jefferson's friend Michael Anderson. The only movies I've seen, I know he's done other comedies, and I've always liked Eddie Griffith. I know he was in Urban Justice with Steven Seagal. Yeah. Black Dynamite, Normand. Yeah, he's done a lot of other movies. There was another movie. Yeah, he was in Coneheads. He did Scary Movie 3. He's always a funny guy to watch. I like Eddie Griffith. You have Robert Corman as Ted Reed, Jefferson's father. He passed away sadly, but I basically just remember him in 2 movies with Disney. That was The First Kid with Sinbad, and he voiced Rafiki from The Lion King. I believe he did. Yeah, he did voice Rafiki. And he was in Spy Hard, but like I said, he was the First Kid. Oh, he also voiced, Rafiki again in The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. And of course, Lion King 1.5. James Earl Jones plays Ernest Moses. So you do have a big African American cast. You know him for voicing Darth Vader in the Star Wars trilogy, original trilogy, or I think Rogue One too. And of course, he also did Lion King. He voiced Mufasa, and he was in Conan the Barbarian with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He played Thulsa Doom. Yeah. Driving Miss Daisy. He was in that. He's been in a lot of movies. The Hunt for Red October, Field of Dreams, Coming to America. He played Eddie Murphy's father in that. And of course, there's probably the World Mufasa and Lion King remake. And of course, he was in The Sandlot, and I think The Sandlot 2. Bill Cosby as Marvin. I don't like Bill Cosby what he did, but you all should know Cosby for. I think he created. He was of course in The Cosby Show. He created, I think, Fat Albert. Yeah. And he was in the Fat Albert 2004 movie too. And Ghost Dad, I think he did a movie like that. I just don't like what he did. Yeah. Another bad creation plays J-Lo Lords, the children members of the Golden Lords. Stephanie E. Williams as Stacy. A love interest for him, but pretty much goes nowhere. Roy Fagan is in this movie. Frank Gorshin is in this movie. You all should know him for playing, of course, the Riddler in the Batman 60s television series. Yeah, he's in here. Luther Vandross as Jasmine. Sinbad's in here. Sinbad's done some movies too. Like I said, he was in Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He did the movie First Kid with Disney, which I like that movie. Yeah. And of course, he does stand-ups and stuff today. Still does that, I think. He was in Good Burger. He's done a little bit of other movies. And of course, was in Good Burger 2, which I've never seen. Naughty by Nature. Hip-hop artist. Cyrus Hill. Big Daddy Kane. You have a lot of hip-hop artists in this movie too. Don Cheadle's in this movie as a member of the Golden Lord. Now, Don Cheadle, you should know that he was of course part of the Marvel franchise, starting with Iron Man 2. He played James Rhodes, aka War Machine, and he was in the Avengers film, including Infinity War and Endgame, and Age of Ultron. He was on an episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. He was in the movie with Nicolas Cage, The Family Man. He was in the Ocean's trilogy. I think I remember him in that. Yeah. Nancy Wilson as Principal Walls. Tommy Tiny Lister, I think late Tiny Lister, I think he was from the Friday movies, and he was also in another Superman movie. He was in The Dark Knight, but he had a small part in that. Jennifer Lewis as Mrs. Williams. Wallace Shawn as Mr. Little. Wallace Shawn, he voiced Rex in the Toy Story franchise, and he was also in Clueless. John Witherspoon as Clarence James Carter. He's in here. Chris Tucker as MC in Mall, but he was Chris Tucker. I guess it's an uncredited role. But you also know him from many movies like Money Talks, the Rush Hour trilogy, The Fifth Element with Bruce Willis. Yeah, not much on production. And if you are a big fan of this movie, a huge fan of this film, it's okay if you are. I'm not. But if you're expecting a lot of special features in here, there is not. The only thing that you get out of this Blu-ray is the trailer. So, for you fans out there of the Meteor Man movie, if you love this movie, or those that consider it a cult classic, in your opinion, don't get this Blu-ray because there is no special features on it. If you're thinking there's making up, no. There could be on a DVD. I don't know. Sorry, but there's nothing. You only get the trailer with this, and that's it. Yeah. But for the plot of the movie is that an unassuming teacher, Jefferson Reed, lives and works in the urban area played by a tough gang. When the falling meteor hits Jefferson, he discovers that he has gained numerous superpowers. Encouraged by his father and mother, Jefferson sets out somewhat awkwardly to become a crime-fighting hero, the Meteor Man. While he manages to prove his community, he finds out that his powers aren't limitless, making his efforts more challenging. And of course the gang trying to hunt him down and trying to find out who he is. Basically the movie's about taking a stand against, gang violence and, do something. I'll get more into that in the review. Okay, I'll go ahead and start talking about the movie itself and give my final opinion, thoughts on it. Drinking water again. So the Meteor Man. I'll get into it. So it opens up with nice titles, decent music, the Meteor Man, and you see the meteor head roll. And this film, I'll admit, does have some good special effects. The special effects were done by ILM and Industrial Light Magic. They've been doing special effects for movies since Star Wars from 1997. 1977, sorry. So they've been doing films for a long time. But you have the opening, you see Washington D.C. in this neighborhood. You have Jefferson sleeping, his dog waking him up, him going to work. And, James Earl Jones wears these crazy wigs in the movie. It's just really silly. He wears these ridiculous wigs. You see him go to school. Excuse me, I gotta sneeze. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't want to sneeze on the camera. I was, sneezing. That's disgusting, so I'm not trying to show anybody that. But anyway, he goes to his job. He gets in trouble. Basically, he's talking to Eddie Griffith. Eddie Griffith's a teacher there, like a science teacher, I guess, and likes to flirt with the ladies. And they have a little conversation, and he goes to the principal's office because these parents complain about him, convincing him to just run away from the gang, from bullies, and that gets him beaten up. And he says, "I'm sorry, kid. I'm sorry. I was just trying to help out." Then later on in the day, he meets his father and mother, Don Cheadle, the Golden Lords of this gang, who are led by Simon Gang, which you have, of course. And then, of course, LA with a juggler named Anthony Byers, played by Frank Gorshin. But anyway, Jefferson's father, was like, was like this. I'm not walking across the neighborhood or across the street. I'm walking across right now. Then, he's doing this weed or smoke. He jumps up Don Cheadle's hands he's like, "Oh man, look at that," and brings just pick it up, and he steps on it, and Don Cheadle's about to fight him. He's like this. He's like, "I see you later, old man." He's like, "Oh yeah, why don't you see me now?" I do like that he has, he's an old man, but he has guts. He has balls to stand up to him. Doesn't put up with their crap. And Jefferson Reed's the type of guy that just wants to walk away from a fight. Doesn't really want to fight. Just wants to avoid it. Just mind his own business. Even some time later, somebody messes with his car. Damages his vehicle. But Jeff eventually, that night walking, sees this woman getting beaten up by the gang, and again with the Cornwall gangs, they all have golden hair, which I kind of thought was silly. And of course, you have toddlers, 10-year-olds, like he's 8-year-olds, and grown man in part of the gang. And he recognizes one of the kids from school, and the woman runs, and the bad guy, the villain, Simon, has this slinky, and they chase after Jefferson. He goes hides in the dumpster, and Don Cheadle's like, he's not stupid enough to hide in there. One kid sees him, but he's like, no, I don't see nothing, but he doesn't say anything at all. Just has to run away, get away, escape. But the meteor comes from down, and the meteor hits him. His face gets third-degree burns, goes through his body. This old man, this homeless man played by Bill Cosby, sees him. Bill Cosby just kind of pops up every now and then in the movie. When you see his character, this pops up. This part of the meteor fragment, but he grabs and takes it. And Jefferson ends up going to the hospital, and they're doing the surgery, and they see that the meteor is getting into his body, and they have to put a rubber band on his face. There's a serious moment where A. Griffith's like praying over his friend. Then there's a funny moment where he's flirting with the nurse, Vanessa. And she's like visiting hours over. He's like, hello, Mr. Jefferson, don't try not to speak. I'll be here. And then, they bring Proud in to everybody see his face. They take the bandage off, and he's fine. Just looks the way he normally does, even though he's still 3rd-degree burns. This is when he first gets his powers, which is not complaint. He touches the book, and for 30 seconds he knows everything in that book. And he's right, and the page, and then 30 seconds he loses it. Which I'm like, that's a pretty useless power. What's the point of that power at all? That's kind of useless. Then a little later he finds that he's X-ray vision. He sees this doctor dropping this patient's toilet or whatever, little tool that you can go on the bed, I guess, when you're in the hospital, and sees these nurses and doctors talking. And he's got super hearing too. And he looks down, he sees people, through their clothes, which is just really weird. And he's like, oh, wait a minute. And then he pretends to think he tries to push him on the clothes like, Vanessa. And then, of course, there's this old lady coming in, this old hag coming in, and he comes and like, Vanessa, he's like, no, I won't look at you. He's like, well, Vanessa got that. I don't. I was like, no, Vanessa. I'm like, ugh. Then he goes back home, says hey to his dog, and apparently he can't understand what his dog is, and he's like, not if you understand the dog. Which is weird, because he can just, communicate with his dog. Which gotta be subtitles, like, woof, woof, woof. But meanwhile, his father, gets beaten up by the Tiny. The gang man shows up. They beat him up, because he, messes with them. So they decided to give him a beating. Simon talks about with his gang information that he said, I could control it. If I can in New York, if I can make it there, I can make it anywhere. Yeah. But again, they attack his father. He gets out of the hospital in the wheelchair, and Jefferson comes up and was like, what happened, Dad? Because I've been attacked. And the gang, Don Cheadle and the gang shows up, and Don Cheadle was like, hey, old man, get out of the hospital, touch him. And then Jefferson stops, like, don't touch him. And then he's like, tells them, attack them. And two of his men, Don Cheadle's men, go along the gang, try to attack them. But Jefferson, grabs them, pushes them back. Like, wow, get him. They try to, Tiny tries to, attack him, tries to punch him, but, Superman, he's like, ah. He's, punching hard still, and he's hurt. They try to even run him over, but he's able to stop the car with his hands. And the two bad guys get out. And they're like, I don't know how you do that, but you're dead, man. You better watch your back. Don't shoot us, and they believe. And he's like, well, that meteor gave me superpowers. He's like, Mom, can y'all not tell anybody about this? And his mom makes a good point here. I'm like, which is she makes a good point, don't tell nobody. Honey, the whole neighborhood just saw you do this. I was like, yeah, Jeff, Jefferson, the whole neighborhood just saw you use your powers. I think everybody knows you have powers now. You just use your, duh. He's like, well, just make up something. Just make up a story. And he just goes back home. And again, this is the first sign of his weakness, though. He oversleeps. His dog shares a weakness. He's like, why didn't you wake me up? His dog's like, I tried. You know. Yeah. You know, but he's going his way to work. The gang meets him, though, as they did threaten him earlier. They do start shooting at him. He's like, getting those bullets bouncing him. And he just wakes up fine. They try to run after him and chase him, shoot him again. But he runs so much he flies into a searchlight. And like, okay, did he just do that? Yeah, and they go away. And he's always married. And again, this movie just has this ridiculous comedy in which he's looking at this lady. She's changing, I guess, in her lingerie. He's like, no, I gotta put me down. Her husband says, I'm gonna kill you, dude. Tries to attack him, but Jefferson, falls on the ground, and there's a earthquake. Runs back home. His dad's like, look, you have all these powers. You tell me, superhero. We can stop the games. You can fight crime. I know what you can. He's like, Dad, you're taking this too far. And he's like, no, we can stop the Meteor Man. So his mom makes him a suit, and you go through this compilation, these montage of these suits, which are really silly, and I'm sorry to say cheesy suits that are terrible to look at. Until eventually they give him the right Meteor Man suit, which I do like the Meteor Man suit. It is pretty cool. And again, his community convinces him to do it. They say, Jeff is going to stop it. He's going to stop the fight. He's going to be our Meteor Man. Just like the Batman 60 television series, we're going to give you, not the Bat phone, but the Meteor phone. And we need you to patrol the neighborhood 3 times a day during the week or whatever as Meteor Man. And they're just happy. And as his power first, he seems to power. I thought that was a cool moment, and he lets up green. Like, really good special effects, so that's why I give the praise to the Industrial Light Man. So they did a really good job with the special effects stuff. And he's afraid of flying, so he's not really flying there. He's only flying like maybe 3 feet or 5 feet from the air toward the ground, and just flying. And he goes into this crack house, and he's like, get up and crack, boy. He's like this. Excuse me. So you sip a breath. It takes me down in a silly way. He stops 11 robberies by bringing down this guy tries to shoot him. You don't have an action going on, and he just says, are you the TV repairman? I was like, I'm the TV repairman. Oh. And then he turns the TV on, turns up really loud, so the whole neighborhood wakes up, and there's like all the cops. He's like, y'all have a good night. And he does a backflip, like, flying away. And he brings peace between the police and the cribs of this other gang in the woods. That's what they call them. I would like to see an action scene. He's like, y'all, stop. And they're just shooting at him, but the bullets, like he's Superman, like I said, so he's bulletproof. He's like, they're shooting at him, like, they show stop. Just peace between them, which I was just pointing out. I mean, I get it, stop gang violence and all that, the message, but I want a little action. I mean, you can't tell me nobody in this gang is going to try to at least shoot at a cop. Come on. To them, they're pigs, and they're going to try to at least shoot them. But I would prefer an action scene. I get it. The movie's trying to have a good message, though. So I can't complain too much about that. But even Simon says he's bulletproof. Just stop. He plants a giant garden in the middle of the ghetto, which is, really good effect. They push some cars away. He creates a place for the garden. Puts it on the ground with the soil, and water, and uses Meteor Man powers and able to make the rain. And the garden looks really beautiful, though, the way he made it. The girl knows trying to find the Meteor Man is because Don Shield says, it's him. They go to a school, but Eddie Griffin shows up, as the baby always has him tied up, grabbing him, And I guess he's trying to protect his identity because Simon's not really for sure that's him, because when Eddie Griffin says, comes in and says, the Meteor Man just, saved somebody else, instead of something to the workers, like, I'm sorry, sir, for wasting your time. That's okay. Then, they leave. And anyway, the crime drug lord, kingpin, I guess you can say, buyers, Frank Gorshin is like, I'm tired of this Meteor Man. What do you know about him? You gotta stop him. Because he's stopping all these drugs, and he's costing him money, and this is pissing Frank Gorshin off. Because he's losing billions of dollars. But with this going on, there's a scene though where Eddie Griffin, comes in, sneaks to his apartment and steals his suit. To get a little attention, he wears a green mask, He's like, yeah, baby, I'm a Meteor Man, I can date you anytime. And they're trying, the going over where he's at, and they try to kill him. Jefferson tries to, I guess you put a hat and jacket on. I forgot to mention that there's also a scene where he's having a meeting, with Wallace Shawn as one of the teachers, talking about, you don't give up on the kids, and then he sees, X-ray vision of a kid damaging his car, his teacher's car, or still in, out of a locker. And then the love interest, I forget her name, they go over that, because, by the way, you find out Sinbad's her boyfriend, so I'm like, really? They don't really give him a love interest in here. I'm not saying every superhero movie needs that, if we would have had a sequel, or franchise, or this movie would have been better, we probably would have had a sequel, and maybe Jeff would have got a love interest, but that didn't happen. Apparently in this movie, they do have a love interest, but again, that goes nowhere, because Sinbad ends up being a boyfriend. He's part of the African Peace Corps, or whatever, something like that. Jefferson even runs up into him, though, but again, they know that he's Meteor Man because one of the drug lords sees him use his power. He uses it to kind of his laser vision to shoot the guns, to knock the guns out, and usually hit this lady's butt, thinking that Simon grouped on her, and she slaps him. He's like, try to touch me, and I'm like, and he uses his telekinesis to make him fly. And one of the drug lords, one of the gang's members sees this, knows that he's Meteor Man. Again, I think he should have had a better disguise. Now, I forgot to mention where Meteor Man is saving the day. Again, there's some moments that kind of do make me chuckle and laugh. Like I did laugh when they give each other a high five, and he hurts it. He was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," But he uses his superpowers. Makes Eddie fly, gets him safely. But like I said, when the gang member sees it, knows that he's the Meteor Man. Again, I think he should have been at least wearing a hoodie with sunglasses on, hide his face a little more, so that they don't recognize him. Maybe something, not a hat, backward in the jacket, where they can clearly see his face, and seeing him use his powers kind of gives his identity away. But that wasn't entirely his fault. That was Eddie Griffin's fault, and he's mad, which I don't blame him for being pissed at Eddie Griffin, because he did use his powers. He's like, get out of my suit now, and then he gets him out of the suit. He just turns around, grabs the suit, and flies out of there real quick. And they say he apologized to him, and he forgives him. But but Jeff has used so much of his powers during these past few good weeks, and the meteor, like I said, the weakness, it drains him, so he's asleep for hours. He's very tired. The gang, not the gang, but Frank Gorshin tells Simon, you need to take him, or you're going to lose your power too. He was like, she's like, Jeff. He's not listening. Well, he's not that he's not listening, but Jeff is not, there. And because of that, Frank Gorshin and his team break in. And he this week told Simon about, fixing the problem, he's powerless. But then again, it's his dog, saving him, puts him all his laundry, has him behind the couch, but they can't see him. And he's like, what happened? He's like, well, they attacked you. The media must have drained your powers, but the community, he sees what happens that, that the gang is doing. And he tells him, he wants to leave with the gang. The community says to make a deal with the gang, but he's like, that's not going to work. He's telling him, you need to take a stand. He's like, how can you complain when you do nothing at all. You know, they say they're scared of the gang, but he does make a good point. And he is ready to just leave out of there, tell his family bye. And meanwhile, Simon shows up in the gang. Gilmore show up and saying, "Meteor Man!" You know, he's like, I gotta do something. We're doing hiding that. So Jeff says go fight him. He's like, Jeff talks to Simon. Like, I'll make a deal with you. I'll be done. I'll go to New York. I'll leave you alone. I'll leave the community alone. But he hits him because he lied. And he punches him. And Jeff gets his ass beat. But he's able to kind of hit Simon back a few times. He points his gun and Jeff's about to kill him. But then, you know, Jeff says his character has silly moments in him. But there's moments where this lady gets murdered, he cries, and he's crying because of a lady getting shot. So he throws a vinyl record at Simon, not going to gun us, and he puts up with the gun again. Except one of the kids, you know, the kids at the school who was joined initiation, joined the gang. The kid said his gun. He's like, and the kid, and the baby boy say, "You shouldn't have done that," you know. So in Marvin, Bill Cosby can see this fight too. It was a scene where Bill Cosby, I said, he pops up and down, and you see one scene of him, you know, looking at using his laser vision to change the neighbor's TV with telekinesis, uses it to make coffee, you know. And he can spot the dogs too. It's kind of silly when he's, you know, Bill Cosby, you know, yelling at the dogs to go attack, and he's able to use his telekinesis to get rid of all their guns. And all of a sudden, you know, everybody in the neighborhood fights back. You know, this lady thumbs up, she's up, you know, which I thought was a real silly, stupid moment. But everybody's fighting. He tries to fight, but he gets beaten up by Don Cheadle a little bit. And they're all fighting. And Bill Cosby drops the meteor right. And this is a scene where Jeff and Simon are both grabbing it right here. It's like, you know, and the meteor blows up. Gives him powers that he tries to, you know, Simon can feel that great power. You know, because you have a typical cliche in superhero movies where the villain gets the good guy's powers, you know, and he's going to use it to hurt people or, you know, thinking he's almost God, basically. He tries to push the truck to him, and he's able to use his powers to beat Jeff up a little bit. Jeff grabs his book, Bruce Lee book, and it's really silly. This is a cheesy moment where he's like, you know, trying to do Bruce Lee and doing horribly at him. So you can't do Bruce Lee. Only Bruce Lee can do Bruce Lee. And then he, you know, picks up this modeling, you know, and gives it to Simon. You know, Simon touches it for 30 seconds, the modeling, and they're both, you know, modeling. Which again, I thought that was just goofy and silly, you know, in my opinion. And he kind of just picks Jeff up and throws him to the side. He throws him up top of the building. He tells him, man, he's like, I enjoy this power. He's like, shoot me. He's like, what? Shoot me. Okay. So they just shoot him down. But again, you know, like Jeff, he's got bulletproof. He's like, yes. He's like this. He's like, yes, I'm God in this world. I'm God. I'll control this world. I'm God in this world. You know, next this neighborhood, and then the world. Then the world is, I want to speak to them that I am God. But Meteor Man shows up. He shows up with his suit. He's like, this is Meteor Man. He goes stop at the gym. So Meteor Man, you know, flies, attacks Simon and just does his cool beating up. I forgot to mention that Simon and his gang, they try to shoot. I'm sorry, I go over my reviews. They did try to shoot the people down, but Meteor Man is able to cut the bullets, and he's bleeding because he's losing his powers. But anyway, toward the end climax here, he beats him up. He beats the gang up, you know, ties them up, wins in the end. But Frank Gorshin and his team and his gang tries to kill him off. And the gang, you know, the boys that he made a deal with show up, and the rest of the gang to show up, and cops and team up. And Frank Gorshin says, you know what? Move to the Bahamas will be nice. Time to go to they're getting a good vacation. And she was like, wait for me. Instead, the cops show up, and you expect a good fight to happen. But the movie ends there with Jeff smiling on his face, Meteor Man smiling, and that's the end of the film. Oh, and I also say that this movie, sorry. Elton, his dog, African American Elton, gets hurt because Simon hurts him. But Bill Cosby uses the rest of the power and heals the dog, and the dog's better. That's good. But like I said, it ends with Frank Gorshin and the gang and the Golden Lords and all the gang members getting arrested at the end, and Meteor Man winning, him thanks to the help of his neighborhood and him smiling, and that's the end of the movie. That's the Meteor Man. Yeah. Let me give the rest of my opinion on this movie. But the Meteor Man. Again, I think this film is just okay. It's timeless. I'll get to what I like about it. I do like Robert Townsend. I do think he's good. Some of the cast think he's pretty good. I do like Marley Gibbs and Eddie Griffin. He was good. James Earl Jones. I liked him. And I did even like Bill Cosby's character, even though it was a minor role. And Sinbad was alright in here. Sinbad was alright. He just kind of pops up too, but in 2 scenes. Yeah. And the special effects I think are amazing. I like the special effects. The effects are really good. All of them, Industrial Light and Magic, is really good. And I will say this, the movie does have a good message standing up against gang violence. Like when in the community hall meeting, he tells them, how can you complain when you do nothing? I do like that. Sometimes the comedy works, sometimes it can be funny. Like with Eddie Griffin, I do think is funny when he's trying to flirt with the nurse. Even though it's a serious moment, he shows to have a flirt with his nurse. And, Jeff tried to look at Vanessa through her clothes. And there's the lady. That's funny. So there's some cheesy moments here that are funny. Sometimes it's just too cheesy and ridiculous, and I'm like, I can't stand that. Where it's annoying, but the cast is good. The cinematography is nice. The film is very well shot, I think. For this film, the cinematography is very beautiful in this movie, I will say. The editing is fine. When the action is there, I do think the film needs a lot more action. Again, I got it. It's got a good message. The music was alright by Cliff Elman. I don't remember much of the music. Honestly, I do not. The movie's 109 minutes long, but it feels more like 100 minutes long. Maybe 2 hours at least. The budget for the movie was $20 million, and the box office made $8 million worldwide. I forgot to mention that. Again, the cinematography for the was alright. It was distributed by MGM. But anyway, it made $8 million. I don't think critics were too nice on it. One critic said, a fairly clunky sitcom, Peter Brandner said, with a sense of righteousness do good to them, although the film intends to inspire, it instead sends a message that would take a superhero to clean up inner city gang violence. The movie collapses on own confusing and impulses. On the hand, it would like to create a valid superhero for black children. On the other, it much more concerned with setting up the superhero genre and the heroics. Die-hard Townsend fans would probably have a good time with it, but they should have probably stopped reading from here. Roger Ebert said, this movie contains good laughs and moments of genuine feeling, but it seems to be put together out of sort of inspirations that were never assembled into one corner of storylines. Kids may like the film and anyone can enjoy these moments of inspiration, but the Meteor Man could have been better if it had tried to do less, more carefully. I agree. The film has gained some cult followings, and it did receive an award. The film did receive a Saturn award nomination for best science fiction film, but it lost Jurassic Park, which I can see why. Jurassic Park, in my opinion, is a better movie. And Jurassic Park made a ton more money than this. I believe Jurassic Park made $1 billion. This only made $8 million domestically, so it didn't do very well at the box office. Yeah. But like I said, sometimes they're not nice. Those are my positives. Robert Townsend, as a director and a writer for the movie, he's trying his best. He's trying to give us a message here. Again, I do agree with stopping gang violence and taking a stand against gang. I'm all for that. Again, without being violent. Okay, I get it. But this should have treaded more. He should have treaded more lightly. And again, he had a big cast in here, but having a big cast in here, and he has good intentions, but the problem with the movie for me is the tone. It's trying to be a serious movie, but with silly comedy in it. It's just, this movie's just all over the place, in my opinion. It's just, the tone is just not right. It's like, I don't get it. What is this? What is this movie? Is it a comedy? But yeah, you're trying to be dramatic, you're trying to be serious, and then you're trying to be comedy and silly. You're going for both here, and I'm kind of confused. Like, you need to just stay with your tone. You can be more of a serious superhero movie if you want to be, Robert Townsend, but you need to tread lightly and just focus on the tone of the movie. Don't mix the tone everywhere. That confuses people. I mean, it confuses me. I'm like, are you trying to be comedy? Are you trying to be serious? Yeah, it's got good intentions, but those good intentions, in my opinion, yeah, I can see why this film is a failure. It's not a terrible movie. Again, I would say it's still better than Spawn or Still. Those films are awful. This is just an okay movie. It's a time waster at best. It does have good intentions. It's hardest in the right place, but it just doesn't work. You know, even White Man had some heart there to it, but White Man worked, in my opinion. That did have a good message, but it stayed lightly with its tone. It stayed right with the tone. You know, it didn't go everywhere. You know, it did have a bit of serious moments, but the comedy works a lot better in Meteor Man. It doesn't try to have a big, huge cast. You know, just because you have a great cast in a movie, too, just because you have a big cast in there, doesn't make it a good movie. You know. And the special effects are good, like I said. There's just a lot of cheesy, dumb, stupid humor I can't stand. Like, the pacing is alright. The pacing, I get it. You're trying to tell us the story about meeting the character, getting to know him. I get it. I get the point of that. Seeing him get his powers and taking time to know about hers. I get it. My issue was the climax, the ending. That kind of just, in my opinion, my first time watching that felt like, first time watching this movie, that just took forever. The ending, the climax just went over way too long, in my opinion. It just kind of goes on for too long and kind of got a little bored, to be honest. And honestly, I was probably thinking about other movies when I was watching because I was kind of just not really paying attention much. I was like, okay, not really that interested, But it's a movie that has good intentions and it tries to have, the heart's in the right place. But in order to have a good heart, you gotta have a good script and a good story that I can be invested. I wasn't really invested in the story. This film is trying, but I think it falls flat, in my opinion. Not really horror, but it falls flat. It's just a missed opportunity. At least Robert Townsend tried his best. I can see what he was going for, but it just failed in my eyes. It's a failure for a movie. It's not the worst thing ever. It's not one of the worst superhero movies ever. I'm not saying this is the worst superhero movie ever made. No. Like, again, I could definitely watch this over Madame Web, or Morbius, or the Venom movies, or some of the recent Marvel movies. I could watch it over Thor or the Thunder. This doesn't make me cringe like that movie did. No. But it's just the tone is all over the place. The tone is not right for the movie, in my opinion. Tread lightly and be more careful. Carefully. Just, I can see what they're doing. But again, Meteor Man wasn't really for me. I was not big into this movie. I just prefer the Black superhero movies. Like I said, I prefer White Man. I prefer Blade 2 over this. Yeah, I even prefer Black Panther over this. But that's just me. Personally. That's just my opinion. That's just me. I just felt that film had a better story. It's got its problems, but I thought it had a better story. In my personal opinion. Some people may disagree with that. That's fine, to each his own. We can agree to disagree. But the Meteor Man, I didn't grow up with it, so again, this film just wasn't for me. It wasn't really my cup of tea. It was alright. It's a time waster for what it is. So anyway, my rating for the Meteor Man is, I'm going to give it a so-so. But if I had to fully pick, I would say a bit of a thumbs down, brother, but just lightly. But it's not a terrible movie, in my opinion. I don't hate Meteor Man. This is not a rant. I don't hate this film. I just think it's alright. It's a time waster at best. It's just meh. But it wasn't for me. Sorry, folks. And if you're fans out there of this movie, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think of the movie? Oh, my rating for the film. My rating for the movie. I'm gonna give Meteor Man 3 out of 5 stars because at least its heart's in the right place and the good intentions there. But it just fails in my opinion. But I don't hate it. It's just an okay and above average movie in my opinion. But 3 out of 5, my rate for the Meteor Man is 3 out of 5 stars. So guys, please tell me in the comments down below if you've seen the Meteor Man, if you grew up watching it, if you grew up watching if you've seen the first black superhero movie here, if you've ever seen this movie, let me know in the comments down below what do you think of it in your opinion. If I'm wrong about being the first black superhero movie, just let me know if I'm wrong. And first of all, I hope you guys don't think I'm racist or anything for not being a big fan. So I am not. And 2, because like I said, I love Blade Man, I love Blade, the Blade movies, Blade 1 and 2, and again, Black Panther. I love Chadwick as but the late Chadwick Boseman. I miss him, and I loved him as Black Panther. That he was great. I liked him. I hate Black Panther is a cool, awesome character, a better character in my opinion than Meteor Man. But that's just my opinion. Don't take it personal. If we can agree to disagree. If you feel different about it, just because I feel different about it, it shouldn't affect you at all. Me not speak right. Just because how I feel about a film, should not affect how you feel about it. I'm not here to change your opinion. I'm just here to share my opinion. That's it. You can tell me your comments down below. We agree to disagree. But again, 3 out of 5 stars, and I'll give it a so. I won't give it a thumbs down. I'm sorry about that. No, it's just so. It's just man. But guys, tell me in the comments down below what do you think of the Meteor Man in your opinion, and stay tuned for my next superhero review. This will also be a revisit review. And gosh, I do not look forward to talking about this movie again. Yeah, I rented on the first time, probably the second time. I will be doing a revisit review for the 1993 science fiction action movie, although he's like a superhero movie with me, and I reviewed the first 2 movies, RoboCop 1 and 2. I will be reviewing, stay tuned for a revisit review for the 1993 film, science fiction film, RoboCop 3. So this will be next. Yay. But RoboCop 3 will be next. And then we will get on to the year. This is the last movie I'm talking about. Can't speak right. This is the last movie I'm talking about for 1993. The RoboCop 3 review. But again, guys, let me know what you think about the Meteor Man down below. And I hope you let me know what you think about this movie down in the comments below. What do you think of it, in your opinion? And stay tuned for my revisit review today for RoboCop 3. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. See you later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Bye. Have a good day. Stay tuned for the next one. Bye-bye.